Hello and welcome back. Today we're delving into a powerful tool for enhancing security on Linux. This tool is AppArmor. If you're looking to secure your applications and minimize the impact of potential vulnerabilities, AppArmor can be a game changer. We're going to go over what AppArmor is, how it works, and how to get it set up on your Linux environment in just a few simple steps. Let's go ahead and get started. So, taking a look at the AppArmor webpage, the landing page here, AppArmor, which we know is short for Application Armor, is a Linux security module that helps enforce restrictions on how applications can interact with the operating system. Think of it like a security fence. It limits what applications can and can't do, reducing the risk of a compromised app causing system-wide issues. AppArmor uses profiles to control the permissions of individual applications. These profiles specify what resources like files, networks, and processes an app can access. And it even can block an app from executing certain commands. So one of the first things that we're going to want to do is check that AppArmor is already installed. Now most Linux distributions like Ubuntu come with AppArmor pre-installed, but let's make sure it's running. So here just in my Linux, my Ubuntu terminal, I'm going to just run sudo AppArmor _status. Okay. And we can see that there's a whole bunch of AppArmor module is loaded, 49 profiles are loaded, 45 profiles are in enforce mode. So we can see that AppArmor is actually installed and is running. So that is, remember, that is the sudo AppArmor _status command. Let's go ahead and clear our screen and carry on. So now that we've seen which profiles are either loaded or in enforce mode, let's say AppArmor wasn't installed and you had to install it. It's pretty simple using either we're on a Debian-based system, so I'm going to use apt as the package manager, but if we're using a Fedora Red Hat, you use your yum or whatever it is. So let's go ahead and just type in sudo apt install, sudo apt install AppArmor. Now, what this is going to do is this is going to update it because it's already installed. If it wasn't installed, it would go ahead and install AppArmor for you, but it is installed. So now that we know that AppArmor is already running, we can make sure that it starts automatically whenever the system boots up. So you're going to use systemctl. You can use systemctl for these commands. So let's go ahead and type in sudo systemctl enable AppArmor. Hit enter. And we can see that it's busy synchronizing and AppArmor is being enabled. Okay, AppArmor is now enabled. Now what I can go and I can actually go ahead and start AppArmor. So it's basically the start command. So it's sudo systemctl start AppArmor. Okay, AppArmor has now been started. So we can go ahead and verify this with the status command. So I'm going to go ahead and type in sudo systemctl and its status and AppArmor. We can see that AppArmor is loaded. Now we're using systemctl, so we can reload, restart. We can do a whole bunch of things with AppArmor in systemctl, but we can see that it is actually running on our system. Let's just go ahead and clear our screens. Now that we know that AppArmor is installed and running, let's talk about profiles. So these profiles are like specific security rules for each application. They define which application is allowed to do what. So let's, for an example, let's just show a profile here. So this command, let's just go ahead and let's just type in. You can use this command. You can ls. Okay, so everything is in etc AppArmor.d. Okay, and let's go ahead and hit enter. Okay, so profiles are stored in etc AppArmor.d. You'll see profiles here for common applications like the web server Apache, for example. Profiles can be set in either complain or enforce mode. Complain mode logs policy violations without blocking them, while enforce mode actively blocks anything not allowed by the profile. So you can see ABI force complaint. Here's NVIDIA, TCP dump. Here's Tor that's running. And we've got a lot of stuff that is actually working here, syslogd, etc., TCP dump. So these are apps that are being managed by AppArmor. Okay, so let's talk about creating and enforcing profiles. So let's create a profile for an application and set it to enforce mode. In this example, we'll create a profile for a test application. So let's just call it my app. So I've already created a directory called my app. So let's go ahead and do sudo aa genprof. Okay, user binary directory, and we go ahead in my app, which I've already created, hit enter. Okay, and we can see that now scan, so AppArmor is actually working. So it's updating AppArmor Profiles in Etsy AppArmor D, writing updated profile for user bin my app, setting user bin my app to complain mode. Before you begin, you may wish to check if the profile already exists, etc., etc. So I'm going to go ahead and type F for finish here. And what it's done is now it's created an actual profile. The default has been set to complain mode, but it has created a profile for my app. So now let's go ahead and let's change this. What we would like to do is we would like to actually put this app into enforce mode. So let's enforce the profile. And then what we can do is we can do sudo AA enforce. Okay, and we can go Etsy and AppArmor .d, which we know, usr .bin .myapp. Okay, we hit enter and it's set AppArmor into enforce mode, as we can see on our screen. Now that the profile is enforced, AppArmor will restrict the app according to the rules that we've defined. Okay, switching a profile to complain mode. If you're not sure how an app should behave yet, you might want to switch it back to complain mode to collect information without blocking it, and here's how. The first thing that we're going to do is clear up our screen, as we always do. Okay, from here, to make changes to an existing profile, just open it in your favorite editor. So profiles use a straightforward syntax that specifies permissions for files, network access, and more. So let's open the configuration file, and we can do so using I love nano. I'm going to use nano, sudo nano. Let's go ahead and do Etsy AppArmor.d. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and put /usr. So that's where we want to be. Sorry, usr dot bin for binary, and then we can do .myapp. Okay, and hit enter. And we can see that the configuration file has been opened up here inside Nano, and we can go ahead and change rules directly from within here. Let's do Control X to get out. So wrapping up, that's it. Now you've set up AppArmor, created a profile, and learned how to switch between complaint and enforce modes. AppArmor is a powerful tool to add an extra layer of security to your Linux environment, and with a bit of customization you can tailor it to fit any application. Thanks for watching. If this video helped you secure a Linux environment, give a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more Linux security tips. See you on the next one. Bye for now.